everybody, my name is Shadowknight, and welcome to a different kind of video than I usually do. I don't usually do videos like this, but this is something that's been on my mind lately because of the new update that's been coming up, and all of the new stuff that is in at the moment. Now, right now I'm standing in the middle of Fortuna, which is the newest update to Warframe. Right now, I'm usually a solo player. I'm still very much a solo player. I don't usually like playing in public or doing stuff like that, unless there's something for me to gain from it, that like from relic runs or things like that. For people who know what I'm talking about, you know, I like to do relic runs in public, but everything else I'll either do with friends or by myself. Now, with this new update, I've been kind of poking around the forums and watching videos about people's thoughts on stuff, and, you know, everybody, you know, what they feel about this update, because I know a lot of people were worried that this update was gonna be, not very good, or that it wasn't gonna have enough in it. Well, I gotta say this. The community's being a bit stupid. Just a little bit. And I'll explain what I mean by that. In all honesty, the complaints that people have been having about the Fortuna update, a lot of them are not very valid. For example, we have people complaining that farming for Garuda is really freaking difficult, or it takes way too long. It's too much farming. Honestly, that's a good thing that it takes a decent amount of farming. Okay, and it's not a lot of farming. Farming in this for Garuda is incredibly easy. All you have to do is you have to do the first 3 bounties that are in this, like you saw earlier. This is the first bounty. Okay, this is not difficult. This is level 6. Okay, everything here gets pretty much one shot if you have any good equipment whatsoever. But people are complaining about that. Now, the parts themselves, very easy to farm. You know, they have a decent drop chance, so it's not difficult to get this stuff. However, people are still complaining, and this is why. Because there's a daily cap on how much standing you can get, and you have to reach tier 4 of the standing, tier 4 or 5, for people who don't know, there's 5 tiers. You can hit tier 4, and that's when you get the final bit of stuff. You have to get a certain stone to build Garuda. Now, people are freaking out, because it's like, you have to hit tier 4? Are you freaking kidding me? That's not hard. And it doesn't even take that long. Now, for people like me, who, for example, I have everything in the game. Okay? Like, I don't really have a whole lot more to do other than this update. So, for me, I can just focus on it. And just be like, okay, I'm done with my daily standing. I mined a ton of stones. I fished a crap ton. Piece of cake. I'm pretty much done. I can go play something else, practically. But for a new player, or somebody, or not even just a new player, but somebody who just doesn't have everything in the game yet, which is fair, they have other things to do. So, for example, you can hit your daily cap, and you can move on. Now, I'm going to point something out real quick. I am MR20. Now, for anybody who knows the math on this, I'm choosing to stay at MR20, okay? You can tell, you can look at that and tell I'm not MR20, but I'm choosing to be that, because honestly, I've had I don't know, I have a stigma with 25 and 26, but that's just me. So I choose to stay at 20, just because, honestly, there's no real reason to go higher. There's no real benefit other than this. For me, at MR20, it is, I have a daily count of 21 standing a day. Or 21k. I'm sorry. Slip it down. So that's all I can gain a day, and then the next day, I have to come back and do it again. Now, if I was higher, I would have a higher cap. The highest cap you can get right now is 26 if you're 25, if you're MR 25, or 27 if you are MR 26. Which, yeah, of course, if you want to hit that, go for it. Why not? Go for it. I have nothing against people who want to hit MR 25 and all that. But with that daily cap, all the standing you need in order to get Garuda is roughly around 141,000k standing. Now, with a 21k cap, that will take about a week. By the way, this is being recorded, and I'll try to have it uploaded by Saturday. This is being uploaded the following Friday from the release. So this has been 1 week. And in that 1 week, I've gotten all the parts of Garuda, gotten all the things I needed for her, and today, I hit the max cap to finally start building Garuda, and there you go. Now, the only thing left that I have left to do are things like kit guns, the MOA pets, stuff like that. But I've got the big thing out of the way. I have Garuda. Okay, well, she's building right now, so I'll have her in a couple days, which, whatever. That's a completely different subject than what I'm talking about. So, I don't understand why people are complaining. People are going on and on about how it's too long of a grind, you have to hit rank 4. Honestly, if you have already been part of the game for a while and you're a decent master rank, like 18, 19, or up, you're good. It will only take you, like I said, 7 days. Or 8 at max, okay, for those ranks. Okay, and that's if you're, like, spending it on other stuff, which I did. So, honestly, I didn't even earn all my standing as quickly as I could have because I was doing other things. So, honestly, the standing isn't an issue. It really isn't, okay? Again, it only takes 141,000 standing to get her with your daily cap. Now, of course, if you are a very low, or not even a very low, like if you're MR 10, it's going to take you a while. Can you do it? Yeah, you can. Honestly, at MR 10, this would not be an issue for you. You just get your daily cap through whatever means possible. That doesn't... Now, I usually do it from doing the bounties, and then I do other stuff. I'll turn in stones, or fish, or whatever the hell I can do. Everybody has their own methods. Of course, there's the best, but do whatever the hell it is you like doing for it. Okay, just do whatever the hell it is you like to do for getting your standing. Then at MR10, you could do it. You could honestly farm up Garuda just purely. It would take you a bit because of being a low master rank and not being able to get as much standing as a higher master rank, but it's possible. And it would not take all that long. It really wouldn't. At MR10, 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks, because at MR20 takes a week. So there's that. Alright, if you just follow the math, there you go. Now, people, I can understand slightly people complaining about that, but I think it's a good thing. I think it is a good thing for it to take that long, because a new frame should take time. It should be something you have to earn. It shouldn't be something you can pop on and get within 20 minutes. In all honesty, if it had been where, like, the stones were not locked behind rank 4, I would have had Garuda in an hour. Okay? It did not take me very long to get all the parts. I had very good RNG with it. And then getting stones is, like, the easiest thing in this. Okay? I could have had all the parts building and I had her ready very quickly. I am a very fast farmer when it comes to stuff like this, okay? I'm very efficient. I don't waste a lot of time. I don't go around going oohing and ahhing. So yes, honestly, and even then, with that, when I like things to be very quick, I like the fact that it takes time. Because too many things in this game are way too quick. You can get a prime frame in the blink of an eye. To me, personally, that's a bit ridiculous, with how prime frames are kind of like everything in this game. But yeah, honestly, get over it. Farm. That's what this game is. There are things that are more difficult to farm. Harrow is more difficult to farm than this. Freaking Saren, normal Saren is more difficult to farm than this. This is easy. This doesn't take a lot of time. You just have to get your daily cap and move on. Okay? There are other things to do. If you're upset about the daily cap, increase your mastery rank. Simple as that. Okay? If you have nothing else to do in this game, then I can understand. I can kind of understand you being like, well, I have nothing else to do. I got my daily standing. There's not much more for me to do today. I'll come back tomorrow. Now that's a different story, and I can perfectly understand that concept of not feeling like you can make enough progress for yourself because you don't have anything else to do. But at the same time, there's a shit ton of things to do in this game, or in this new update. Okay, there's a shit ton. All right, even if you got your daily cap, you need to go fishing, you need to get the parts you need for kit guns, for all kinds of stuff. Okay, there's still a lot to do. Now, 4 days into it, yeah, honestly, you're going to run out of stuff to do other than hit your daily cap. I've run out of stuff to do for my daily cap. And something I just remembered, people are complaining about the Torioids, I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if that's nowhere near. I don't actually care. So, that's how I'm going to say it. But to farm, you need 2 of each, and there's 3 types. You have to farm 2 of each to get Garuda, because each of our parts takes 2 of each, or not 2 of each, but each piece needs 2 of one certain type to build it, so you need 2 of each type in order to build all of her parts. People are complaining about the RNG, because it's difficult for them to get, which doesn't really make sense to me. Again, RNG in this game can sometimes be the bane of your existence because it'll be freaking impossible. You'll be sitting there forever and not get something. But the RNG on these things are pretty damn good. Now, I went into the forums and I heard people complaining that they were sitting there for 20 minutes and didn't get one. Boo freaking who. It's a rare resource. Yeah, it's gonna take a bit of time. Okay? It's gonna take you actually killing a lot of enemies. And this is also, like, again, RNG can sometimes be a pain in the ass. So I'm not saying the system is perfect or absolutely nobody is having a hard time getting these. But it's pretty easy in comparison to other things. Okay? The RNG is not that bad. Orc cells are practically the same RNG, so get over it. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Okay? It really isn't. Of course, if you're having bad luck, then I'm sorry. But for a mass majority of people to be complaining is mildly ridiculous. Just a little bit ridiculous. It's not that bad. Okay? If you sit there for a decent amount of time, I'm talking a decent, you're sitting there for like 40 minutes, you're gonna get a couple. Okay? I went in solo, got all 6 within an hour. I'm not even joking. It is not, the RNG is not that bad. But again, of course, if you're having bad luck, then that's a slightly different story. But for the most part, it's not difficult. It really isn't. Now, past that, with Garuda, people are already complaining that she's completely weak. We haven't really done a whole lot with her to know how well she does. Okay? In my opinion, she's great for endgame. She's really good for endgame. And I'm talking, like, 3 hours into a survival endgame, not your freaking sortie endgame. Sortie is not endgame. Sortie is a fun thing to do to get something rare. Sorties, unless it's a freaking dumbass defense mission, which I freaking hate sortie defense missions because it's boring and it takes too long and it's just boring. Okay? But honestly, sortie, even with the end being an assassination, 20 minutes. That's about it. Just 20 minutes. It's not endgame. It's not difficult. And if you have any idea what you're doing, it's a piece of cake. But past that, just Garuda, in my opinion, needs to be fully tested, needs to be like fully like implemented, see how she actually works with teams, stuff like that. I think she's actually pretty good. Of course, I haven't really used her. I'm building her. Okay, so there's a difference, of course. Now, a second topic I wanted to talk about, because the first topic was Garuda and people complaining about getting her and stuff like that, and complaining about Fortuna in general. A second topic is the fact that people complained, and DE responded, because DE does listen to the majority of the community, and for some reason, the majority of the community is, again, being kinda babies, and saying the enemies here are too difficult. What? I'm sorry, what? You can do all the bounties here with a pistol. Okay, you don't need a main gun. You don't even need a tough frame. Okay? You don't. You can do it all with, like, a squishy frame and you'd be fine, as long as you know what you're doing. That seems to be a trend here of people not knowing what they're doing. Now, with this update, with Fortuna, there is low-level stuff for new players. Now, if a new player strays into something they shouldn't be at, like, I don't know, a high-level area, like, okay, let's look at the map. Here, Temple of Prophet. That's a pretty, like, unless you're doing a bounty, that shit starts out at level 40. If you're an MR2, probably shouldn't be there. Probably shouldn't be there. Just a pretty high chance you shouldn't be there, okay? There's stuff for new players. Well, not a lot, but there's stuff. But honestly, people complaining that this stuff is too difficult, go get stronger and come back. This isn't meant to all be done by a new player. This isn't all meant to be done by somebody who just got the game and just unlocked Venus and was just like, damn, I'll do this whole open world. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's not. It shouldn't be like that. This is a brand new update meant for people who've been in the game for a bit. Honestly, I don't think you should come here until you're like MR10. Something like that. And again, MR, I say MR as a kind of a I don't know, a point for a reference. A reference for people to understand where I'm coming from. And I mean that simply by somebody who's played the game a bit. Somebody who knows what they're doing. They've picked a couple weapons they really like. Things like that. But again, MR is not that important. I have my opinions on MR. There's a reason I'm 20 when I could be higher. But besides that, there is a concept in this game of getting stronger. That's what this whole game is about, is getting stronger. Getting new frames, getting better frames, getting new weapons, getting better weapons. Getting weapons you personally like. Weapons that work for you. Weapons that you can destroy enemies with. Now, of course, there are weapons in the game that are better than others. But any weapon can be used. Any weapon can be like a freaking boss-ass weapon for a lot. Now, I'm talking even the MK1 weapons, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. Okay? The MK1 weapons can be used pretty efficiently if you build them right. If you use the right mods, if you put enough Forma into it, it's not gonna be that bad. Now, is it gonna be endgame? Of course not. Of course not. In endgame, it's a completely different story. There are very few weapons that are actually viable for endgame. But I'm talking about just general content. This content. Fortuna is not endgame. It isn't. It's cool. I love Fortuna. Honestly, I've had a hell of a time playing Fortuna. I like the bounties. I like the environment. I like how you have to farm resources. It's how they improve that off of Plains of Eidolon. It's better. It's a lot better. It's a lot of fun. And it's easy. I cannot believe that DE actually nerfed the enemies here. Do you have any idea how long you have to stay at a 4-star rating before things actually start to get a little bit hairy? Me and a group, okay, I'm not just talking about me. Me alone, I stayed in one for about an hour before I was like, this is getting a little hairy. It's getting a little hairy. Because, like, freaking, I had, like, 4 jackals coming in. And this was day 1, by the way. This was before the nerf. Okay, I was going in. I was just like, okay, I want to see what the 4-star rating is like, because I was curious and I wanted to push it and I wanted to see what it was like, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, you had jackals coming in, you had freaking raptors coming in, you had like 50 of the dudes with the freaking hats that freaking disable your abilities. I don't know the name, I don't care. I'm never going to care. They're freaking guys with hats, okay? Them coming in like freaking legions of those guys, okay? It was fun, it was hectic, it was difficult. Now, is it the most difficult thing in this game? No. Half of the freaking enemies could be one-shot, even the jackals. Like, or if, even with the piranha, you could freaking just, like, I don't know, empty a clip into a jackal and it would be dead. Okay, and I'm talking at like level 90. It wasn't difficult. It still wasn't very difficult, but it was intense. I did actually have to put in effort because of the enemy combos and stuff like that. And then suddenly they nerf it. And you know what happens? It's nothing. It's easy. You gotta sit there forever before it gets difficult. You have to intentionally go to the areas that have the giant spiders just so it can be a bit more challenging due to the spiders being there. Now, it's easy. It's pathetically easy. There's no challenge here anymore. The challenge made it fun, but because a bunch of people who are not strong enough and shouldn't be here complained, it got nerfed. Now, of course, I'm not blaming DE. I'm not. Honestly, DE listens to their community. Sometimes they listen to the wrong side of things, but they listen to their community, and I applaud them for that. Now, was this a mistake to my eyes? Yeah. Was it not a mistake to new players or weak players? No. To them, it was the best idea, because it made it more accessible. And I'm all for accessibility, I really am, but there comes a point, there needs to be a difficulty, okay? There needs to be something to strive for. This update is not meant for new or weak players. You need to know what you're doing, you need to be somewhat strong, okay? Again, this content here I'm doing, I could do it with a freaking Lado, okay? I'm one-shotting shit here. It's a piece of cake. I don't even take damage. And yes, I'm playing Neza. I have a 90% damage reduction. Go get Neza. He's a piece of cake to get. He's in your freaking clan dojo. Go get him. Join a big clan. Get him. Takes a couple days to build. Bam. Level him. Bam. You're ready for Fortuna. Right there, frame-wise. Okay? He honestly makes the majority of this content very easy because nothing here does all that much damage, and with 90% damage reduction, everything is a freaking cakewalk. And besides that, pick a gun you like. Pick a gun you feel does the damage required. If it doesn't, mod it. Get the mods you need. Get stronger and come back. You shouldn't pop in here at freaking 2 hours after getting the game and freaking be like, I'll take it all on. It shouldn't be like that. That's too easy. It's pathetic. It's oh my gosh, it's infuriating that people think it should be that way. And of course, I'm not blanketly stating that everybody in the community is like this. Of course not. There are people who already dislike this update, or there are people who this is not just content that they like. And I can understand that there are people who only really like the new, really difficult endurance stuff, or the new stuff that you really have to try for. And this is not that. This is not that. Now with the crabs, that's a different story. I honestly have not fought them yet, because I'm pretty sure their update came out, but I have not looked into that. I've been busy, so I just haven't checked into that at all yet. But honestly, they might be the really difficult thing here, like the Eidolons are on the plains. And even then, the Eidolons on the plains, people freaking figure that shit out and freaking were destroying them. It is not difficult. So I can perfectly understand this not being the content that people look forward to. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me. Other than a new frame and something they can test against high-level enemies, that it makes perfect sense to me. Or if it's somebody who's just there because they like the fashion. Of course, I perfectly understand this just not being content that you enjoy. And more power to you if this is not the content that you enjoy. Go play the content you enjoy. Of course. Like, I'm not saying this, any of this in a way for the people who just don't like this kind of content. But I am saying this for the people who are weak, but don't like the fact that they're weak. Who don't like the fact that because they haven't put in the time yet, they aren't really allowed to do all the new content. Why aren't they allowed? Because they're not strong enough. They can't do it. Okay, I'm sorry, but unless you knew exactly what you were doing, or you were being told what you're doing, somebody who's only been playing the game a couple weeks is not gonna fight all 3 Eidolons on their own. I can fight all 3 Eidolons on my own. A lot of people can fight all 3 Eidolons on their own. Why? Because they put in the work. They took the time. They got strong enough. That's what you need to do for this place. You shouldn't hop in and already be like, I'm going to get all of Garuda, piece of cake, and your MR5. Okay? It's not going to happen. Unless you were legitimately getting carried, it's not going to happen. Okay? I am so tired of things getting nerfed in this game. And I'm not talking about weapons or things like that. In all honesty, a weapon getting nerfed just sounds like a challenge. That just sounds like fun. Like, oh, cool, I'll have to find something new. Or I'll have to make the weapon usable again. Or, I'll have to put work into that weapon to make it stronger. Make it strong enough to compensate. For example, Ember Prime got nerfed. Everybody freaked the hell out. Now she's barely used. She's still a good frame. She is. Is she the best? No. Is she, like, amazing? That's debatable, okay? But she's still usable. Especially for what she used to be used for, which was nuking low-level stuff. Because her stuff took no effort. Took 0. You literally walked through and exterminate. It was the easiest shit you've ever done. But people complained, and now she's nerfed. And now people don't use her because they don't see the value in trying to work through a nerf. Okay, now I'm bringing this up because I'm not talking about equipment or frame nerfs. Equipment and frame reworks and nerfs, to me, I don't mind. Half the time, I think it's a good thing because it forces people to move on. But enemies should not be nerfed. Okay? Objectives should not be nerfed. Okay, unless something is legitimately broken, like something is one-shotting you when it shouldn't be nerfed. It shouldn't. Okay? For example, okay, and this comes into my third point that I had for this video, about things being too damn freaking easy. Things are too easy. Okay? Like, incredibly easy. For example, recently, it's been a bit, but recently we had the arbitration alerts, the elite alerts, the things meant as quote-unquote end game are easy. They are easier than most end-game content. Okay? It's a piece of freaking cake. Okay? You could go in there with Gara and just be done. Like, Gara practically counters all of arbitration. Okay? Piece of cake. Sit there with 90% damage reduction and just destroy anything that touches you. It is easy. And, like, again, I like arbitration. I like arbitration a lot, actually. I like a lot of the concepts. But because of freaking players who aren't strong enough or just new, and again, with new players, I'm gonna make this statement now. With new players, I don't really blame new players too much because you're new, you don't know what you're walking into. Honestly, just you're brand new. Of course, you're going to want to play the new content. I don't blame you for that. But there is the concept of you do need to get stronger and come back later when you are strong enough to actually deal with everything. But primarily, I am sick and tired of the freaking whiny ass. I'm going to steal something from another YouTuber here real quick. Life of Rio. You should go check him out. The 20-minute community. Shut your freaking mouths. Okay, you don't play tough content. You don't know what tough content is. Okay, you don't. You haven't done anything that's tough content. In 20 minutes, if you're dying in 20 minutes on a survival, you have no freaking idea what you're doing. You don't. You're weak. You are pathetically weak. You don't even know the game mechanics well enough to know how to just simply avoid damage. Shocker, there are things in the game to just avoid damage if you know what you're doing. Or if you just know how to move. Okay, like here I'm barely taking damage. Not because of my ability. My ability is not taking damage. Because I'm dodging. I'm moving. I'm doing things to avoid damage. Okay? I'm not just sitting here tanking shit. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but this community is driving Warframe into the ground. It's driving Warframe into the ground because they want everything so freaking easy for themselves. This game isn't easy. It's not an easy game. Okay, I've played this game for years. For any player who knows what I'm talking about, I was back in the day during the green bar bullshit. Okay? That era that we no longer talk about because that shit was Dark Souls. Okay? Yeah, this isn't an easy game. It's not meant to be easy. Are there things in the game that are easy? Yeah. Freaking a capture mission is like the greatest thing in this game. Why? Because you literally run in, you shoot one guy, and you leave. It's the easiest thing in the world. Freaking, oh my gosh, back in the freaking, when you had void keys, tier 1 capture was like the best form of farm in the world. Because you literally, it took, if you had a Volt, or anything fast, or if you just knew how to get through a map quickly, literally getting a Forma took under 2 minutes. You could speedrun that shit, okay? But, okay, this game is not easy for a lot of things. For example, even back then, if you went for a tier 4 survival, that shit was hard. Okay, especially back then. We didn't have the mods back then that we do now. We didn't have the weapons we do now. Okay, it was more difficult back then. Now, of course, again, I'm going to say this about new players. New players, you don't know any of this. You are coming in fresh. You are coming in brand spanking new. And to you, this game is just really cool. But in all honesty, this game is not meant to be a cakewalk. It is meant to take time. It is meant to take hours. You need to put in a lot of time into it. You can't just come in here and freaking be like, oh, this is Destiny, and just shoot your way through a bunch of bullet sponges, because I'm sorry, that's all Destiny is. If anybody disagrees with that, you don't know what a game is. That's all that game is. Okay, I have Destiny. I've played Destiny. I've talked to a lot of people who have maxed out their shit on Destiny. It's a bullet sponge game. That's what enemies are in that game. It's not difficult. Destiny is not difficult. Warframe is difficult. Is all of Warframe difficult? No. Do you have to seek out the difficult stuff? Yeah. But that's what makes it worth it. And I am sick and tired of the difficult stuff being taken away. Things should be difficult. Things should have a skill gap. Yes, I am sorry if this hurts your ego, but there are stronger players than you. There are players that are better than you. There are players who know more than you. Now, again, I am saying this fully knowing there are better players than me. I am not the strongest player. I know for a fact I am nowhere near the strongest player. Okay? There are players who can stay in a survival for like 6 hours longer than I can. Okay? And why? Because they put in the work. Because they know what they're doing. They know more than me. Okay? They put in more effort. Okay? It's okay to not be able to do all of the content right away. Okay? Content should take time. It should take effort. It should not be handed to everybody on a silver platter because freaking people who don't know anything are complaining about things being too strong. Do you have any idea how many MR25 people I've run into that freaking die in level 20 areas? It's pathetic. Because those are the people who sit there and complain that things are too difficult. Okay? Now, of course, I'm not talking about everybody. There are so many amazing players in this game that could freaking, that, like, are freaking brilliant, that have figured out so many things about this game, who take new frames and freaking tear them apart, figuring out all the new mechanics. But there are way too many whiny freaking brats. Now, yeah, that's a mean comment, but it's freaking true. Stop complaining. Okay? Now, at the same time, I'm going to make this statement because people love to make the statement, oh, it's a free game, so you shouldn't complain at all. Hell no. Of course you should complain. You should try to improve the game. But people, what I am talking about specifically is the people holding the game back, who are stopping it from getting any end game, from getting anything difficult in it, from getting anything to feel satisfying. I am sorry, but getting all the weapons and all the frames and getting all the frames, that is very satisfying. But being like, oh, I've got all the weapons, I leveled everything, I'm the highest MR, that is not satisfying. If that's satisfying to you, of course, more power to you. And I'm sorry, it does come with a little bit of satisfaction. My bad on that, because it's very much of a completionist satisfaction. Like, I put in the effort, and I got everything, and I did the work, and I did all of it. Okay? So, of course, that does come with a certain level of satisfaction. But, back to my original point with Garuda. Things should not be given to us in the blink of an eye. Okay? We should have to work for it. I like that Garuda takes a week to get. Okay, less if you're a higher master rank, but at my current master rank, it takes a week. And I like that. I want that to stay. I don't want it to be nerfed so people can do it in freaking an hour, 2 at most. Okay, it shouldn't be that easy. It should take time. It should take work. Now, is doing the daily standing thing the best gate? That's debatable. I will give you that. But at the same time, there's so much more stuff that you have to do that that just getting the standing every single day is not going to get you Garuda. It's not. It'll get you a really good chunk there, but it's not going to give you everything. Okay, you do have to put in a lot of work in that week to make sure you're ready for Garuda, that you can actually build Garuda when she comes out, or when you have all the parts and you have all the when you have the standing needed to get everything. Should not be easy. Okay? And honestly, that leads into something I've always felt about Prime stuff, which honestly I might make a whole other video about, because I dislike how Prime works. I do. I dislike it. And I'm not talking about relics, I'm talking about how easy it is. It is way too freaking easy. But that's another topic for another time. I am very sorry if this was just a whole lot of ranting and raving. This is honestly just stuff I've been hearing about over the week, stuff I've been thinking about, stuff I've been feeling, and I just wanted to get it out. I'm sorry if I repeated myself or there was stuff. And I did kind of record this while I was playing the game. I didn't just record a ton of content and then, voiceover, just put a voiceover. So that's why you do hear my keyboard. So I am sorry about that if the keyboard is annoying or mouse clicks or so on and so forth. But, and okay. If anything I said you disagree with, come to me with an actual argument, okay? Don't just go in the comments and be like, but I want it. Get over it. Earn it. Don't just get it handed to you on a silver platter. And if you are that freaking lazy, earn the plat or spend the money on the plat and buy Garuda and shut up. Okay? Shut up. If you are one of those that just wants to buy Garuda, which more power to you, okay, go for it. Just buy Garuda. And shut up about how the farm is difficult, because you're not willing to go through with it. It's what this game is. It's farming. It's difficult. It's work. It's time. It's not just, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want, and I'm going to get everything I want in the blink of an eye. Okay? Put in effort. Stop just complaining about having to put in effort. But, again, sorry, I kind of just start talking about it, and I get annoyed, because it's just, I love this game. I love it so much. I've played it for so long, and I love the direction it's trying to go, but this community needs to stop holding it back. Okay? This community is being freaking dumb. And this video went way longer than I was meaning it to, but I guess I just had a lot to say. Now again, I'm just an MR20 who's been playing the game for a long time. So I'm not a partner, I'm not anything, just a player. So honestly, my opinion could mean just nothing to you, and I wouldn't mind, because I'm just another player. But at the same time, these are my thoughts. If you people agree, then I'm happy about that. If you disagree, I'm also happy about that, because honestly, discussion needs to happen, because things have been happening with the game that need changed. They need changed. mainly because this community cannot decide on what it actually wants. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later. Now, if you have not tried this game, I highly recommend it. It's free. There's no reason not to. Honestly, it's one of the most optimized games in the world. You can run it on a potato. I'm not even joking. I used to run this shit on a potato back in the day. Just spent 40 minutes ranting and raving about this game. And then I tell you to go play it. But yeah, definitely try this out. Play it. Enjoy it. If you have a complaint, make sure it's valid. Don't just be like, it's too difficult. It's too difficult. Get better. It's a very simple concept. But yeah, I hope you all have a nice day. It was nice having you. Bye-bye.